Good morning to our students, staff, faculty, alum, parents, and those many people who care about Delaware State University. I know this has been a very, very challenging time, but it's required our university to act with a sense of urgency, to be clear and transparent, and to most importantly, keep the main thing, the safety of our students, employees, and entire university community. Today, we are living in unprecedented times. COVID-19 has struck 400,000 individuals across the globe, 17,000 of which have died. In the United States, 43,000 Americans, 500 deaths so far, 100 of which just occurred over the last 24 hours. As you know, the governor has issued an updated state of emergency. And last Thursday, the Board of Trustees and I had the opportunity to talk directly with the governor. His biggest concern is about community spread. That is a particular point of concern for all of us. Community spread is when the cause of the infection is unknown. You've seen numbers grow exponentially because we believe we are in a community spread situation at the moment. Still, we have the safety of our students, staff, and faculty at the top of mind, and the academic continuity of our institution will remain. In a moment, I plan to turn it over to my Chief Enterprise Risk Officer, Attorney Lucretia Moultrie, who will provide you with the full briefing. But before I do that, I want to emphasize a couple of core messages. As you know, this is a serious time, and we should all be very thoughtful about how we're taking care of ourselves, our families, our loved ones, and each other. Second, being responsible and caring are not mutually exclusive ideas. We at the university have had to make very tough decisions, but we've done that with a caring heart and spirit, and we'll continue to do that in our execution throughout this moment of crisis. And last, this moment demands that we think and do things more differently than we ever have done before. That will cause us to use our technology differently, to interact with each other in more responsible ways, and hopefully to combat COVID-19 together. I want to speak specifically to the students. I know this is a difficult time for you, but I want you to know that we are here for you. Our goal is to prepare you academically for a rapidly changing world. This moment is a clear example. I also want to clear up a few misconceptions that I've heard over the last 24 hours. First, with respect to our postponing commencement. To be clear, what we have been able to do is offer two graduation options for the spring 2020 class. The first will be on May 15th and will be a virtual option, the first in the university's history. We will be employing all the latest technology to ensure that graduation runs smooth and is given the due attention and recognition that commencement exercises have for their students and the faculty who teach them, as well as the parents and many loved ones who've supported them through this journey. We will also have an in-person commencement exercise in the fall, and that will be exclusively for our spring 2020 class. I plan to announce the date of that commencement exercise on or before July 1st. Second, cost of attendance credits. We will be applying cost of attendance credits to our students' accounts. These credits will reduce the proportional cost of any outstanding balances for housing and meals from March 18th through May 8th. We will discuss the details of those credits in our next call next Tuesday, which will be exclusively for students. And finally, grading policies. You've read many news reports as it relates to changes and modifications in grading policies in colleges and universities across the United States. We are examining very closely any modifications we will need to make that are necessary and appropriate for our students and also meet with federal guidelines. On this point, I want everybody to know and understand that while we may make those modifications, there will be no sacrifices in quality or expectation. Finally, before I turn it over to Lucretia, I want to make one clear point. Delaware State University, we're still here. We've been here for 129 years. In 1968, this university was occupied by the National Guard in the wake of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. But we're still here. A few years prior to that, this university was on the brink of closure, but we fought back and we're still here. We're still here because our mission is one of the most important in higher education, to provide high quality, low cost, comprehensive education for all, regardless of where you come from, what you look like, or how much money your family makes. I know that many of you, particularly our students, are stressed, living and coping in difficult times, concerned about your family and friends, and trying to adjust to this new normal, at least for this moment. To you students, I want you to know we are still here for you. There will be glitches and frustrations. There will be times where we can't answer all your questions right away, but we want to hear from you. I've already directed the faculty and staff to pay particular attention to the needs of our students, regardless of where they are in the world, and to make sure that we are providing the type of quality education that they deserve. This won't be easy, but we will get through it together. With that, I'll turn it over to Lucretia.
Dr. Allen, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. On March 22nd, 2020, Governor John Carney issued modifications to his declaration of a state of emergency, which was originally issued on March the 12th. These orders became effective this morning at 8 a.m. and remain in effect until May 15th or until the public health threat has been eliminated. The most important features of these orders include the following. First, the requirement that all Delaware residents shelter in place at their home, meaning residents may only leave their homes for essential activities or essential travel. All non-essential businesses are required to close. Delaware State University, as an educational institution, is an essential business, but has restricted operations. We are allowed to operate we are allowed to operate to facilitate distance learning or perform other essential functions if operating under the rules for social distancing. As you've read in our previous communications, the university's leadership has already taken steps to drastically reduce the number of employees reporting to work by 2/3. In response to the governor's order, we are required to further reduce our reporting staff. To be clear, the university is required by law to fully comply with the governor's order. Online instruction will be extended through the end of the spring 2020 semester. The academic success of our students is a priority. All seniors scheduled to graduate this spring will receive all necessary support to complete their coursework. We are working very closely with our students and faculty to ensure that there is maximum flexibility to assist our students who are experiencing difficulties and to provide them with the assistance necessary to be successful. No student struggling with device or connectivity issues will end up being penalized academically, and we will work with each student as long as necessary to ensure that this happens. Critical research activities will continue at this time. Dr. Harrington and Dr. Marsh are developing protocols to allow research to continue while minimizing the footprints of faculty and graduates and ensuring everyone's safety while participating in research activities. Therefore, our graduate students will be able to continue making progress towards their degrees. As Dr. Allen mentioned, we are approaching the issue of commencement in two different ways. Because of the governor's order, instead of a physical ceremony on the field, there will be a virtual event on May 15th. You will receive additional details regarding this option soon, and all graduating seniors will receive their diplomas by mail. There will also be a fall 2020 commencement exercise for all spring 2020 graduates. And yes, this will be a separate commencement from the December commencement. This will be an event that focuses directly on our spring 2020 graduates and their families. Now that date will be announced no later than July 1st. And our hope is that at that point, the situation regarding the pandemic will be clearer. And finally, with regard to our lab school, the governor's state of emergency allows child care facilities to continue to operate. We know that many families with parents still working in essential jobs depend on us to provide care for their children in a safe environment. Therefore, the lab school will remain open and will develop a shift schedule that will reduce the number of on-campus working hours for all their employees. Students who have vacated campus are not permitted to return until the state of emergency is modified or lifted. To be clear, this is not a matter of our preference, but of complying with the governor's state of emergency orders. Once the governor's shelter-in-place order is modified or lifted, we will quickly communicate a move-out process to our university community. It is important to reiterate that at this time, travel to campus for the purpose of moving out is not allowed under the governor's order. All students who are currently on campus will continue to receive support from our Office of Student Affairs, including student health and dining services. For all of our students who are not permitted to return to on-campus housing, the university will issue cost of attendance credits prorated for the period beginning March 18th through May 8th. These cost of attendance credits will be applied to each student's accounts over the next few weeks. Moreover, final student account reconciliations will be completed at the end of the term on May 8th. We will be both deliberate and transparent throughout this process. Pictured on the left of this slide, you will see a screenshot of our COVID-19 landing page. It is accessible within one click of our main page. Some of the highlights include our hotline number, contact information for student health and counseling. Updates and communications are updated on a regular basis. And finally, it includes resources such as frequently asked questions, information from organizations, including the CDC, the Delaware Division of Public Health, and the NCAA. It is not only important for us to communicate, but to ensure that we communicate effectively with our campus community. We use several modes of communication to ensure that the community stays informed. These include emails, texts, alerts sent to DSU devices, social media, and we've also been using phone calls to connect with and engage our students online. WebEx forums will be held on a weekly basis to address specific areas of interest to our students, staff, faculty, alumni, and other stakeholders. The forum scheduled for April 7th will be focused on addressing the issues that are most important to our students. But we also need to hear from you. Please communicate, especially with your professors and your advisors. They're the people who can help direct your questions and concerns to the right people that can get you an answer. Dr. Allen will now provide you with closing comments.
Thank you, Lucretia. We appreciate all of your work and that of your team, and I'm particularly proud of all the faculty and staff here at Delaware State University. I want to remind you of a few things. First, please ask all the questions you need. We have had the opportunity, and I have personally had the opportunity, to speak to many students during this difficult time. When I am able to provide a direct answer to their question, I do. When I need to find the answer to that question, I will. Most importantly, though, is our opportunity to hear from you and continue to be transparent in all of our communications in every way. Second, these Tuesday forums are very important. They will be the opportunity for the university to give you updates on our response to COVID-19 and to continue to allow you to have an open forum with me and my leadership team. Next week, Tuesday, April 7th, will be the very first time that we are having an open Q&A session during this forum. More importantly, that particular forum next Tuesday is exclusively for students. So students, please take the opportunity to join us and bring all of your questions and concerns. We'll be sure to address them. Finally, there's an old adage that I know many of you know. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I am asking all of you, students, staff, faculty, alumni, parents, everyone who cares about Delaware State University, to keep the faith. There's only one way for us to get through this, and that's together. I'm counting on this institution to act as we have always acted, being responsible, caring for each other, and knowing that our clarion call is to enter to learn and go forth to serve. We'll see you next Tuesday, and stay safe.